Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385. I am back with more StarCraft, more commentary, and another topic for everybody. When you're trying to teach the basics of strategy to people and they just doesn't click all that well. I don't blame her for wanting more danger, for people to be more, well, those who work with her to be more dangerous. But on the flip side of that, she's also got to consider, what that's going to do for her in the long run. I mean, think about it for a minute. You keeping someone dangerous next to you, as long as they're loyal to you, can work out. However, on the flip side of that, that also means that in the right moment, they're gonna get you in the back. Yeah, they're gonna get you in the back. Well. As darkness falls across the land and the midnight hour approaches close at hand, do you see the red subscribe button down below? Hit it and save yourself from the grisly ghouls that crawl out at night to seal your doom. Like the video. Yes. And don't forget to ring the bell to keep yourself away from the nightmares that come. Yes, it's Halloween and I'm having fun with this, so just enjoy, everybody. And as for the banelings, corrosive acid is what I generally do. The regenerative acid only works when you use it in groups, and I don't really use the banelings in groups, sadly. And mission time. Alright. But in any case, let's get into today's topic. And today's topic is the treatment of introverts versus the extrovert. Now, people might sit here and say, why am I bringing this topic up? Because truth be told, it needs to be talked about. Why does it need to be talked about? Well, simply straightforward, society favors the extrovert. It does not favor the introvert. What does society favor? Society favors the guy, girl, whatever, that can go into a room, be very magnetic, and just draw people in. And, that's kind of the general mode of things. Society, however, does not favor the introvert who's quiet, keeps to themselves, and is peaceful. Now, people will sit there and say, aren't extroverts peaceful? They can be, but, they also fall under, what's the best way to say this? They also fall under the, we'll go with the popular clique kind of thing. And if you're part of the popular clique, the in crowd, whatever, you're not. You can be a good person, but in certain cases, you are not a good person. Now, people will sit there and say, that's a load of malarkey. I know plenty of people who are extremely social, who are all really good people. Now, am I sitting here saying that that all extroverts are bad people? No, of course not. That's ridiculous. But what I am going to sit here and say is that a lot of these people pretend to be good. And if you really want the best example of that, think of the movie Mean Girls starring Lindsay Lohan. I know that movie is pretty old, at this stage, but you know, think about it for a darn minute.
Get going.
You know, think about, you know, the highest drama tension part of the movie here for a second. You know, super popular girl who has just that book full of every girl's secrets, and what does she do? She basically just lets all that out all across the school. All the girls are fighting with each other, basically. You know, it's a mess. Now, people will sit there and say, okay, what is the point of that? That's the power of the extrovert here, folks. That an extrovert, all they have to do is just go and, you know, just start parading around their influence, the stuff that they do, and next thing you know, you've got mass chaos. Or, you know, the extrovert who's a really hard, pushy saleswoman, whatever you want to say about that salesperson. You're trying to, you know, get on with your life. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. And, you know, it's just push. Buy this product. Do that product. You know, it's all of the same darn thing. And, you know, I'm not trying to rag too hard on this, but, you know, it needs to be said that when the society favors one, favors the extrovert, it also tends to not favor the introvert. Now, is it true that there are those who do certain things a certain way? Absolutely. That will always be the case.
Who asked you?
And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say this, but when society favors one, they tend to basically blacklist the other. Now, people will sit there and say, you know, well, aren't introverts the problem? Not necessarily the problem, but don't they have problems that need to be addressed? In some cases, yes. In other cases, it depends. Now, why do I say it depends? You know, the answer to this is straightforward, simple. Think of what happened at Columbine. You had two guys who were introverts. You know, they didn't really have a lot of friends. You know, they became friends with each other. You know, but that was it. And, you know, they don't talk about it. You know, it's not too heavily implied, but, you know, it is very much assumed that they were bullied by their fellow class. And, you know, did they come to that school do terrible things? Yes, they did. But, you know, the thing that most places will not tell you is that, you know, why did these two do it? Why did they go and do this? You know, the answer that is really, that the gut-wrenchingly truthful answer is that they were sick of it. Sick of what? They were sick of the treatment they got. They were sick of being treated the way they were. And, you know, it was just that school became their torture chamber. And when they finally got sick of it, they decided to do something about it. Now, am I sitting here saying what they did was right? Heck no, what they did was wrong. It was very, very wrong, if you want to be technical.
What is it now? This world
but the point still stands, is that it was the extroverted students who thought it would be funny to mess with these people. Oh, don't worry about it, dude. It's just a prank. Yeah, it's a funny prank to you, but it's, what's the best way? No, there's no nice way to say this. It's harassment to the other. to the other student, basically. And today our society frowns on harassment. Yet it was okay that it, quote unquote, happened. I don't think so. But that's the point. The point is that when you favor a group of people over another because they are the ones who supposedly make the wheels turn, it's a load of hogwash. Why is it a load of hogwash? Because there are plenty of people who are introverted who play the extrovert when they have to, and then, they just go quiet. It's not hard to figure out. I'm trying to become more extroverted, and I am naturally an introvert. I mean, we could sit here and discuss nature versus nurture, but I'm not going to get into my personal life. But the point is that there are people who are naturally a certain way, and then you can be socialized to be either.
Push ahead.
Now, people might sit here and say, well, okay, Columbine was bad, and I'm glad you agree with that it was bad, Ghost Hunter. But, the bullying problem, has kind of been fixed. There's a lot less with things, and it's just, the bullying problem hasn't been fixed. It's just moved to cyberspace, as it were, where the schools can't really do anything about it, quote unquote. It still goes on, it's just there's more awareness. I mean, social media has gotten so toxic and so bad that you can see signs where people are Surgeon General's warning, social media may be harmful to children. It's just, these are the spheres of influence where things have moved. And because the way things have moved,
let's get this over with.
Guess what?
Guess,
bloody what? It just moves to another place. You don't have to stop in one place now, it just moves on to the next place.
There's not much time.
There's not a real good solution to dealing with these situations aside from standing up for you. Besides the fact the person's standing up for themselves. And when you've been downtrodden,
lots of bones in that trench.
It's kind of a hard thing to do, but you can. But from there, it's just, what do you do? If you're the introvert, what do you do? The best option, truthfully, is to work on becoming more extroverted. And I could already sit here and hear some people saying, oh my good golly gosh, or hell heck no, not happening. Well, here's the fundamental problem. You need society to function to get what you want. Now, you could do the, what is it called? Hitomi. I forget the term, but it's the term for a Japanese person, usually a male, who shuts himself in a room and just devotes his life to cyberspace, basically. And, there are a couple isekai anime where this happens, where you got the shut-in who basically gets sent to another world, and depending upon, certain things, he either becomes overpowered and, it's just your standard harem kind of thing, standard this, standard that, blah, 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 blah. The point is that these people are basically taken from their normal situation and they're thrown into something completely new. And that becomes their catalyst for change.
This world is mine.
And sadly, that's what you have to do with a lot of introverts. Except you can't just drag them out of a room and expect them to, adjust like that. Because, there's anime, there's cartoons where you do it, and, it's, just kind of, interesting to watch it happen. Watch as they re-socialize and other things. It's interesting, but the thing that, you don't
out with it.
see, or
Nothing
that,
stands in my way.
you know, what's the best way to say this? The best way to say this is that in real life, it doesn't work like that. You're not going to get magically teleported to another world where you can do this, that, and the other thing.
Quickly.
For a lot of people, you have to
There's not much
find
time.
the reason to actually do it. Now, for me, what actually worked for me here, as an example, is I made friends, but I also made friends who had shared hobbies and shared interests, and that, you know, helped me come out more. And it's
push ahead.
The best, then that's just the best way to do it, in my opinion. For someone to want to change, to need to change, they have to have a good reason to change. I didn't find a really good reason to change until I actually made friends. And then after I made friends that had shared interests, shared hobbies, that's when I started to change. And that's the best way to put it, and that's what you basically have to do. Now, can everybody do it? Yes, they can. But the thing that's hard is actually getting out there and finding a good group of people to hang with. Luckily, I found a group of people where I made several good friends and a lifelong friend. Then I went into the military, and I made another lifelong friend. And I also have the brotherhood. I also have my band of brothers who I can call on to for advice when needed. So, you know, that's the crazy thing is, I'm naturally the introvert. Yet, I have no problem reaching out to my band of brothers.
There's not much time.
Or my two best friends. I have no problem reaching out to them whatsoever. As for my ex-spouse, I'll just use that turn of phrase for now. My ex-spouse, basically, here. She only has her siblings. Now, mind you, I do have an elder sibling here, but I don't go to my elder sibling to basically be my friend. I don't do that. He's my bro. He's my brother. He's my big brother.
Repeat.
And he's going to stay my
Dominion forces in the trench.
More or less here, folks.
We've lost control.
We're not going to do anything else like that at all. Do I like hanging out with my brother from time to time? Yeah. But I'm not going to interfere with his life. He's earned a break from me.
I don't want to hunt down stragglers.
But I'm not going to go into that story.
I'll see you.
But, you know, the point is that if you want to help an introvert, what you need to do is find them a friend group that shares same interests and let them get to that point in their lives. But in any case, everybody, thank you for watching. This is Ghost Hunter 385 signing off.